Nitai, Jaya Gora Nitai. Jaya Gora Nitai, Jaya Gora Nitai, Jaya Gora Nitai, Jaya Gora Nitai. Jaya Kishore Kishore, Jaya Kishore Kishore, Jaya Kishore Kishore, Jaya Kishore Kishore.
जय श्री श्री किशोर किशोरी जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा श्री गौर निताय की नमः ओम विष्णु पदाय कृष्ण प्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांता स्वामीति नामिने नमः विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामीति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेशतारिणे नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी शिव जय जय गौरा चंदे आरती गो शोभा शिव जय जय गौरा चांदे आरती गो शोभा आरती गो शोभा जानामि तातमनि जगमना लोभा जानामि तातमनि जगमन लोभा Ibadaki nitai chan bamigadadai Anikate advaita srini Asa chakradharai Anikate Advaita Srini Asa Chakradhara Ibabushi Ashish Gaurachandratna Simhasane Mani Harati Karena Brahma Adi Devagane Hara Harati Karena Brahma Adi Devagane Hara Ibadara Adi Adi Koi Chamara Dolaya Sanjaya Mukunda Basu Goshadigaya Sanjaya Mukunda Basu Goshadigaya Eva Shankar Baje Ganta Baje Baje Karatala Eva Shankar Baje Ganta Baje Baje Karatala Baje 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 Karatala Madhura Mridanga Baje Paramarasala Madhura Mridanga Baje Paramarasala Shanga Baje Ganta Baje Madhur 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 Baje Shanga Baje Ganta Baje Madhur 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 Baje Guru Baje Gaurangera Ati Shobha Jaga Jana Mana Lobha Ittai Gaura Haribo 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 Ivabao koti chanda jini vadana ujalai. Gala dese banamala kori jana mala. Shiva Shiva Sukarada Preme Gadada. Bhagati Vinoda Dekhe Gaurara Sampada Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Sivasati Gaura Bhakta Vindaya Chaitanya Nityananda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Sivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Chaitanya Nityananda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Sivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Bolo bolo. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Gauranga. Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Gauranga. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Gaura Nitai Jaya Gaura Nitai Gaura Nitai Jaya Gaura Nitai Jaya Nitai Gauranga Jaya Nitai Gauranga Nitai Gauranga Jaya Gaurari Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Jagannatha Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Jaya Kishore Kishore Jaya Kishore 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 Jaya Kishore Kishore Jaya Kishore Kishore Jaya Kishore 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 Jaya Kishore 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Nitai Gaura Haribol, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribol. Nitai Gaura Haribol, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribol. Haribol, Nitai Gaura, Nitai Gaura Haribol, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribol. जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिवाजक आचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्री श्रीमद इज डिवाइन ग्रेस एसी भक्ति वेदांता स्वामी शिला प्रभुपाद की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिवाजक आचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्री श्रीमद इज डिवाइन ग्रेस भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर गोस्वामी महाराज शिला प्रभुपाद की जय। नामाचार्य शिला हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपा गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। वृंदावन धाम की जय। नवदीप मायापुर धाम की जय। पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। गंगा माई की जय। जमुना माई की जय। भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय। श्री श्री किशोर किशोरी की जय। जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की जय। श्री श्री गौर निताई की जय। निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे। All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Guru and Gauranga.
Do you know where to start? There's nothing pumping. Do you know where it starts? No? Namaste Narasimhaya. Taladadayine. Hiranyakashipurvakta. Ilatankanakalaye. Tito Narasimha Parato Narasimha. Yato yato yami tato Narasimha. Kahe Narasimha Hridaye Narasimha. Narasimhamatim sharanam prapade. Tavakara kamalavarena adhuta shringa. ललिता हिरण्यकशिपु तानुभृङ्गा केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे केशवद्विदाधर हरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल नरसिंहदेव भगवान की जय प्रहलाद महाराज की जय गौर प्रेमानंद हरि हरि बोल
Please repeat after me. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you for being here with us this Sunday evening. On behalf of our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada, I would like to welcome all of you for our evening program. Is there anybody here for the very first time? Okay. We have a small gift for you. Please raise your hands if there are others here as well. We have this program every Sunday starting at 5 o'clock and it is free. So after we will have a class now and after that we will be serving dinner on the third floor, a vegetarian free dinner on the third floor. So you are welcome to come with your friends and family members on every Sunday. Today's Sunday feast has been sponsored by Shraddha Ruti. I don't think she is here, but we can chant the mantra one time. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I am chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra again and again because this month's theme is the power of the Hare uh, holy names. So today, Krishna Archana Mataji is going to start the series on this topic. She is one of our very senior congregation members. She has been in ISKCON in different places, and now for the last several years, she has been serving here in Chicago. So let's welcome her with a loud Hari Bol. Hari Bol.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamunatira Panachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamunatira Panachari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Kishore Kishori Ki Jai, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Marani Ki Jai, Gonitai Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Good evening. I'm just going to do the pranam mantras before proceeding. Om Jnana-timirandasya Gananjana Shlakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manopistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamlam Shri Gurum Vaishnavansha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Ragutam Vitam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padansa Gana Lalita Shri Vishaka Vitansha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bando Jagat Pate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavanishvari Vrishabhanu Suti Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vanchakalpa Taribhyascha Kripa Sindhubheva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimata Ram Padaswami Iti Namine Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimata Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Navishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakti Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I don't know if it will be possible to, I know everybody likes the long seats, but we have a little odd arrangement. There's a line there, there's a line here, there's a sort of semicircle here. So I hope you can all hear well and you're comfortable. For myself, I won't be able to be turning towards you on this side, so I apologize. So the theme, as it was said by Radharaman, is the power of the holy name. It's supposed to be the monthly theme. So I have the task of introducing this particular topic, since it'll be spoken about for 4 weeks in a row. So the power of the holy name can be defined as the specific ability of the holy name to act. So power of the holy name may even refer to the authority of the holy name, and power may even refer to the energy or the force of the holy name. So when we mention the holy name, we're specifically referring to the Maha Mantra, which is in 3 different places, but all on that wall, and one up in the central part to the right of the altar. The Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So that's the mantra that's referred to as the holy name. Now, in giving consideration to the context in which the holy name is introduced, one needs to consider that Lord Chaitanya, he is the incarnation of Krishna who had appeared in the role of a renunciant sannyasi, particularly with a particular purpose. And his purpose was to benedict humanity. And his way of going about it was to arrange for different devotees to speak for the proper dissemination of spiritual instruction. So this is approximately 500 years ago, the most recent incarnation of Lord Krishna. Now, Lord Chaitanya, he had Srila Haridas Thakur glorify the supreme efficacy and excellence of the holy name. So that's the personality to whom that task was entrusted. And he assigned Srila Rupa Goswami to analyze the levels and varieties of spiritual exchanges with the Lord, And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya had the particular task of explaining the truth about liberation, meaning liberation from being in this material world and being in an embodied state. So this benedictory aspect of Lord Chaitanya, it's glorified, and the authority of the holy name through the glorification becomes established. So in Sita Vallabhi, there's quoted in Brahma Rahasya, and this is the particular text that's glorifying both Lord Chaitanya and it's establishing the particular benedictory power of Lord Chaitanya, and the glorification is there of the holy name. So here is the particular text. By the sacrifice of the congregational chanting of the holy name, I worship the deliverer of the living entities of Kali Yuga, Sri Gaurangadeva, who constantly sings the names of Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his angas, meaning his bodily limbs, in the form of Nityananda and Advaita Prabhu. The upangas, or parts of limbs, like Srivas Pandit, his astra, his weapon, in the form of the holy name, and Parshad, his associates like Swarup Damodar, Rai Raman, Ramananda, and Gadadhar and Govinda. So clearly Lord Chaitanya is not appearing alone. He's actually accompanied by numerous devotees that are considered parts of his limbs. So closely are they associated with him, and the holy name is referred to as actually his weapon that he's arrived in Kali Yuga to help to benedict humanity. So now, if one gives consideration to the efficacy and the excellence of the holy name, this came to be discussed in an assembly of two highly learned brothers. They were called Govardhan and Hiranya. And there were also many learned scholars. And this particular discussion, it's described in Chaitanya Charitamrita in the Antya Leela. And it took place in the village of Chandapura, near the confluence of the Ganges and the Yamuna rivers, at Saptagram in the district of Hooghly. So I'm not familiar with the district, but at any rate, we get some sort of geographical location for where this conversation took place. So the first statement that was made about the holy name from several of the scholars was the following. By chanting the holy name of the Lord, one is freed from the reactions of sinful life. So it's a very huge statement and a huge generalization. And others said, so some of the other scholars present at that time, said simply by chanting the holy name of the Lord, a living being is liberated from material bondage. So two major statements were made in this particular assembly. Now, if we look at this specific ability of the holy name to act, to free one from the reactions of sinful life, it's certainly corroborated in Brihad Vishnu Purana. And I'm drawing from Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's writings, the Bhajan Rahasya, where he's quoting from Brihad Vishnu Purana. So this is the Vishnu Purana giving further validation to this statement that by chanting the holy name, one is actually freed from material bondage. So this is what the Vishnu Purana says, or the Brihad Vishnu Purana. Simply by once chanting the holy name of Hari, a sinful man can counteract the reactions to more sins than he's able to commit. So that's an incredible power that's been attributed to the Maha Mantra, the holy names of Lord Krishna. That even if a very sinful person, chants the Maha Mantra one time, it can actually free him from or counteract the reactions that will come from the sinful activities he's performing. So one can consider how is it that sinful life actually takes place? Because if this is the benediction that's there of the holy name, there's the assumption that actually there's a lot of sinful activity going on. So if we consider how is it that sinful life comes about, the explanation that's given is that when a living entity comes in contact with the material creation, so we're in a material world, like everything has a shape, a form, a texture. It's three-dimensional mostly, sometimes two-dimensional, but you can touch it, you can feel it, you can smell it, etc. So this is the material creation. So when a living entity comes to the material creation, his eternal love for Krishna gets transformed into lust. So this is also working on a certain assumption that every living entity is actually a spiritual being, the soul that's inhabiting the body, and that there's actually a natural love for the supreme soul. But when one comes into the material creation, that love for Krishna gets changed. Rather, the focus shifts to a kind of lust. And lust is usually this desire to gratify one's senses. So one wants to see something beautiful, one wants to hear something beautiful. One wants to accumulate things that please one. So it means that suddenly that love that was there, spiritual love of the soul for the supreme soul, it's the whole focus is shifted of the living entity, because now the living entity is identifying in a very bodily sense with everything around it being of a physiological or a very physical nature. So and this particular shift means that suddenly the functioning is very passionate, because if one wants to gratify senses, it means one wants something quite, in a sense, desperately. It seems that one's existence depends on being able to please one's eyes, or please one's ears, or please one's tongue, or just generally see to one's bodily comfort. It seems very essential. So it's a kind of very passionate way of being. Now, this material creation, Srila Prabhupada explains in Bhagavad Gita in the 3rd chapter, in the 38th verse, he says it's created by Lord Krishna to give an ease of being able to fulfill these lustful natural tendencies. So the whole creation has been designed to make it easy for one to fulfill these tendencies, to try and gratify the senses or fulfill this bodily appetite that one has. And the interesting thing is that the holy name, just returning to the holy name and the statement that was made about how the holy name can actually prevent reactions that come. Because naturally, let's say one is wishing to accumulate things for one's bodily comfort. So generally one needs a place to reside, or one needs transportation to move from one location to another location. Etc. Well, that's the picture. And in this particular process, it may mean that actually there's a danger always that a living being is going to move into an area of excess, or even that in trying to satisfy his bodily urges, he may actually even move into an unlawful area. So it's not unusual, like very often one may hear that some persons have a problem with overeating. So that's, just trying to gratify the tongue. So it's actually becomes excessive, the need to gratify the tongue, because the person will have more than is actually necessary to maintain the body. So that's a very simple example. And then there's other ones where persons are needing to please the highest of their senses, their mind, and the mind may be a little bit disturbed. So persons will want to escape from that disturbance, and then they will go into unlawful territory where they'll try and quiet the mind through some sort of addictive substance. So the holy name can actually counteract reactions to such actions, even when these actions have moved into excessive or unlawful areas. Isn't that extraordinary? So, not that one is now proposing that that should be one's lifestyle, but this is the power of the holy name, that even persons who have entered into unlawful states of gratifying their senses, or even moved into areas of excessiveness to satisfy their bodily appetites, still the whole holy name will act to prevent them from having the terrible reactions that come. So, reactions can be simple things such as like physiological suffering of some sort. It may be much worse, that actually there's imprisonment, whatever it is. The holy name can actually nullify those reactions even. That is how powerful the holy name is. Now, the counteraction of the holy name becomes important because of one very important fact. And that is that generally, if one's functioning in this passionate way, trying to gratify one's senses or, satisfy one's bodily urges, then actually there's a kind of lustfulness, because there's a greed to satisfy. And if, however, one is not successful in gratifying one's senses or satisfying one's bodily appetite, then actually what can happen is wrath. It means that one is so angry that one experiences a kind of wrathfulness. So this is actually what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita in 3:37. He says, Kama esha krodha esha rajaguna samudavas van mahasano mahapapmam vidhi evam eham varinam. So, O Arjuna, Krishna says, it's lust which is born of the material mode of passion that induces the living entity to engage in sinful activities. So this is what happens actually with functioning in this kind of very passionate way and trying to satisfy one's bodily needs. If they're not met, there can be wrath. I mean, the most common one that comes to mind is generally in kind of romantic liaisons. If somebody is thwarted by their beloved, often wrath sets in. So that's a very common example that comes, but it applies to all aspects of pleasing the senses when it's not satisfied. That's how Krishna explains it. And that is what actually induces a living entity to start to engage in sinful activities. There's this word kama, which means a desire for sense gratification. And Krishna puts it that it's lust which later transforms into anger, that causes conditioned souls to act sinfully, even against their will. So one may know better, But there's this, because the lust hasn't been satisfied, anger may set in, and then because of anger, one may then proceed to act in a particular way that is sinful. So there's all kinds of examples if one actually reads the news, where one hears where somebody has overstepped a line that was lawful into an unlawful space. And usually it comes from this particular thing where the lust was not satisfied. So, I mean, I will use this example because it's constantly repeated and repeated in our current country where we live, that our former president, he crossed a line because that the lust for power was so great that he was even willing to incite the populace to attack the governmental seat in order to somehow divert the whole election process, somehow still trying to hold on to power. So this is something of that way in which one comes to act sinfully because it's crossing a line that goes into unlawful territory. So karma, or this desire to gratify one's senses, so again, it can be on a subtle level, like the example I've just given of our former president. It's in the mind, desire for power. So it's actually considered to be very powerful and all-devouring. And Krishna puts it that lust is the greatest enemy of the conditioned soul. So, of course, the example I used of our president, it's like seeing it enacted in one person, but because of the person's level of responsibility, it's actually very graphic, and it has such huge implications for a whole country because it involves the populace. Now, if the way of being, this passionate way of being, of wanting to gratify one's senses or please some desire in the mind, some lustful desire in the mind, instead of degrading a person into ignorance, because that's what happens if one crosses the line into unlawful territory, instead, if one changes or diverts that passionate way of being into a way of being that's in goodness, then one's living and acting can move in the direction of spiritual enlightenment or spiritual attachment. So the particular way that this can take place, where this passionate way of being can actually move in that direction of spiritual attachment or moving into a way of being that's in goodness, is via chanting the Maha Mantra, the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And now, this is quite an extraordinary thing, that one can actually divert a whole passionate way of being into elevating one's consciousness. So if one looks at the Maha Mantra, both Krishna and Rama are forms of addressing the Lord directly. And the names and the Lords themselves signify the highest eternal pleasure. So here at one moment we're talking about gratifying the senses, but through chanting the Maha Mantra, the elevation of consciousness happens because the very names one is saying actually bring the highest pleasure. It's contained in the names, this great pleasure, eternal pleasure. Hence, it becomes possible to counteract material lust. And hara is the supreme spiritual strength or power of the Lord. So that's when addressed, say in Hara, it's his spiritual strength, it helps us in reaching the Lord. And this again indicates the particular ability of the holy name to act. And in this case, it connects us with the spiritual energy. So as opposed to being at the mercy of material energy and our passionate lustfulness, just by chanting the Maha Mantra or making space in one's day to allocate time to chanting the Maha Mantra, this connection is made with the Supreme Lord, and the very names themselves contain pleasure. So the pleasure shifts to a pleasure that comes more from acting in goodness as opposed to acting in passion. And that's just from setting aside a small amount of time to chanting the Maha Mantra on a daily basis. Now, a further way the holy name acts is to bring the living being to a happy, normal condition, due to a second important fact. The living entity is considered to be of a superior energy to matter. So we're not just this gross body form that has limbs and certain organs that have specific functions, but rather we are considered to have a superior energy to matter. And this is explained by Lord Krishna. He explains it in Bhagavad Gita in the 7th chapter, in the 5th verse. And he says, apart from the material energy, I have a marginal energy that is known as Parashakti. This energy of mine consists of the living entities who are fully cognizant. All living entities have manifested from this energy and have energized this material world. So Krishna himself gives that information, that from him has come a marginal energy. So we considered marginal energy of Krishna means that we've got that choice. We can stay in that lustful condition, lustful, passionate condition, or we can move into a way of being that's in goodness, with elevating our consciousness and putting an energy on connecting with spiritual energy. And he's saying that the living entities are fully cognizant, means that we actually know this fact. It's just a matter of hearing it and trying to understand. But notice Krishna says that living entities, they've energizing this material world. So this material world is matter, but what brings energy to the material world is the fact that the living entity is carrying spiritual energy. So the consciousness is what's moving everything. Why the condition of the living entity is not considered normal, because that was the statement I'd made, just the second statement as to what the holy name can do, that it can bring living entities to a normal condition, and why it is that living entities are not considered to be in a normal condition is because they're actually exploiting matter. They're exploiting the inferior energy of Krishna, because everything in the material world is still Krishna's energy, but it is inferior energy that makes up matter. That's how it's referred to as inferior energy, because one is has the superior energy, the spiritual energy of Krishna. So this exploitation of the inferior energy of Krishna, it takes the form of exploiting the particular elements that are there in this material world. So the earth may be exploited, water may be exploited, fire may be exploited, air may be exploited, ether may be exploited for different purposes. So this is very visible I mean, the most common one that always comes to my mind is sometimes one is driving and then one will notice some huge expanse of land where a hill has been carved into by big machines in order to make cement. So I always think of that as an example of like exploiting earth because, you know, it was a hill. Krishna's energy, but then man is moving into that a position of passionately breaking apart the hill, crushing the stones, creating bagged cement that then is going to be used for construction. So I always think of that example, exploiting the inferior energy, in that case, earth. Of course, there's so many other examples. So, although the universe is a very orderly and harmonious system, it cannot act unless it's moved by the superior energy. And that's the living entity. But the living entity is always controlled by the Lord because of the fact, and that's what Krishna has said, that we are actually his marginal energy, means that we are very much connected to him and we are coming from him. So an explanation for this statement lies in Srimad Bhagavatam in the 10th canto, in the 87th chapter, where the personified Vedas are speaking. So they give reasons for this particular fact, how the living entity is always controlled by the Lord. Just in case it's difficult to understand, this is what the personified Vedas say. If the countless living entities were all pervading and possessed forms that never changed, you, meaning Lord Krishna, could not possibly be their ruler, O immutable one. But since they are your localized expansions, their forms are subject to change. You do control them. Indeed, that which supplies the ingredients for the generation of something is necessarily its controller, because a product never exists apart from its ingredient cause. So the personified Vedas are pointing to this fact that we have this spiritual energy because we connected to Krishna. And if you want to raise the argument that Krishna can't possibly be controlling us, they're saying this can't be the case by virtue of the fact that each living entity has a form. If we were able to change our forms and be everywhere all the time, then Krishna wouldn't be controlling us. But that's not the case. We have a particular form, and we can't be everywhere at once. Right now we're seated in this place, and we're not somewhere else. We're not in the lobby. We're here. So, and then they're further pointing to the fact that you can't separate the ingredients of a product from the cause of the ingredients. So we're made up of material elements. There's earth, water, fire, air, and ether that even makes up this body. And those are Krishna's energies coming through material nature. And of course, there's the spiritual spark within, the spiritual energy that's also coming from Lord Krishna. So you can't separate the product, so to speak, from the cause of the ingredients. It's a bit like looking at some well-known product, I don't know, some soap, and you read the ingredient list, and you know that everything that went to make up those ingredients has got a particular labeling printed on the soap, which is the manufacturer of that soap. So you understand, okay, this manufacturer put together these ingredients to create this bar of soap. So you accept that. So in the same way, you have to accept that the living entity is controlled by the Supreme Lord. You cannot separate us, the product, from the cause of the ingredients, which is himself. Now, this incompatibility of the connection with matter, it's overcome through a connection with the spiritual strength of the Lord's name. So we generally, we're not really comfortable with matter. There's some discomfort. And that discomfort gets overcome when the connection is made. Our spiritual beings that we are connecting with the Supreme Being. Then that spiritual strength becomes prominent, and then there's comfort. So that is why there's discomfort in the material world. Now, going to the second statement made at this meeting, that was the various scholars and these two gentlemen at the confluence of the Yamuna and Ganges with Lord Chaitanya. There's the second statement: simply by chanting the holy name of the Lord, a living being is liberated from material bondage. So, it's the association actually with a saintly person that allows someone to come to know of the eternal identity as a servant of Lord Krishna. So it requires somebody to help one to understand. It is this knowledge that allows a living entity to surmount that obstacle that I've been speaking about, namely material nature. Because it is an obstacle, because, as I said, it shifts the consciousness into that lustful state. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he writes, this is with regard to how it is absolutely essential that one meets a servant of Lord Krishna in order to be able to understand or have this knowledge that the living entity is eternally a servant of Lord Krishna. And this is how Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur puts it. This is very rare. It happens only because of the results of huge amounts of previous pious activities that are never to be attained by fruitive works, which can only give insignificant results. This is coming from Harinam Chintamani. So if we look at pious activities, because that's what Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, that there has to have been so many pious activities that were performed for somebody to actually meet a devotee of Lord Krishna who can actually help that person to understand the connection, their spiritual identity and their connection with Lord Krishna. So if we look at this, there are three kinds of pious activities. The first kind of pious activity is derived from fruitive activity. It means that you're working for a particular result. So there's some piety in doing work to get a particular result. That's called Karmanmukhi piety. The second is Jnanamukhi piety, which is derived from the cultivation of knowledge. So, say one develops one's knowledge in a particular area of religion. This is a kind of piety that one is accruing just by developing knowledge in that area. And then the third kind of piety is called Bhakti Unmukhi, or piety derived from devotional service. So this means that one may have performed some activity connected to Lord Krishna, but unknowingly. So, for instance, if one is, and this has happened to me, I was in New York City in my early 20s, and I recall hearing these beautiful sounds. And it was some devotees in Thompson Square Park where Srila Prabhupada had been. It was not at that time, much later, different generation, but these beautiful sounds were coming from some devotees performing kirtan in this park. And I just walked past and I remember thinking, these are the most beautiful sounds I think I've ever heard. But that's all I thought. And I carried on walking. I didn't think further about it. So that is that kind of piety that one gets just from having appreciated some devotional activity. Now, if one has got piety that's come from fruitive activity, meaning performing some activity that one's looking to get a result from, then the result one gets means that one's going to have to enjoy the fruit of that activity. So if one worked very hard to purchase a particular material object, then the fruit of that activity will be enjoying that object. And if, however, one has cultivated the piety of developing knowledge of some aspects of religion, then one can come to the point of being freed from being in this material world, so achieving liberation. And then the third kind of piety, this bhakti unmukhi, this actually results, these unknowing acts of somehow connecting with devotional service, it comes to, the piety leads to having some faith, and it leads to having appreciation for devotional service, just like I was describing. I actually had appreciation for the sound of a kirtan without knowing at all what it was and what the connection was or what the philosophy was. Now, so that's called agyata sukriti, unknowingly connecting to devotional service. So this is what leads someone to meet a pure saintly devotee, this latter kind of piety. So this association with a devotee of Lord Krishna allows for a person to gradually develop a taste for chanting the holy name, while coming to understand his position as a spiritual being, and then being able to revert to spiritual consciousness or Krishna consciousness by understanding Lord Krishna's teachings in Bhagavad Gita. So it's a shift in consciousness that will happen through coming into contact as a result of that piety with a devotee of Lord Krishna. Now, Haridas Thakur, who's present at this meeting, he actually says, in response to these two statements that were made that I've analyzed, one, that the holy name frees one from sinful reactions, and he proceeds to say that these two benedictions are not the true result of chanting the holy name. By actually chanting the holy name without offenses, one awakens his ecstatic love for the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. So this is what Haridas Thakur, who was empowered by Lord Chaitanya to put across the efficacy and the excellence of the holy name, this is his conclusion, that actually the real result of chanting the holy name is, without offenses, is that one awakens this ecstatic love for the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. So this power of the holy name may be suspended, however, for a while, because there's a clearing stage. So one may come to set aside some time and actually chant the Mahamantra, but it's not that one's going to be immediately awakening this ecstatic love for the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Rather, there's a clearing stage that has to happen. And this is where the spirit soul gets absolved of all the sinful activities and results of sinful activities that were performed previously. There's this cleansing stage It's called Namabas. It means that one's not chanting purely at all, but rather one's saying the Maha Mantra, but he or she is dealing with unwanted desires in the heart. Because as one starts chanting, one becomes conscious of those desires that are sitting in the heart. And these unwanted desires are called anartas, and they have to dissipate before one can reach the stage of purely chanting, meaning that one actually can hear the mantra properly and one can actually understand that one is actually developing a relationship with the Supreme Lord, and one is saying the Maha Mantra in a mood of service to the Supreme Lord. That takes time because of having to deal with these unwanted desires in the heart. And Srila Haridas Thakur gives an explanation of these anartas, or these unwanted desires in the heart. And I'm drawing from his statements coming in Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's writing, a booklet called Harinam Chintamani. And this is what Srila Haridas Thakur says these unwanted desires in the heart are. He breaks it down this way. The first one is called Asat Trina, which is thirsting for the illusory, or it's defined as Maya, or the nature of matter. So you're thirsting, you have a thirst for something that's not real. It's illusory. And in particular, those desires don't have any connection with Lord Krishna. Or in other words, there's a craving for material gains. So doesn't have one's mind fixed on, what the benedictory aspect is of the holy name, but rather one's real strong desire there is for particular material gains that one has in mind, whatever those may be, whichever possession one wants to have. Both subtle and gross. And then the second kind of anarta, or something that is like a material desire sitting in the heart, it's called hridaya durlabham, which means that there's a propensity in the heart and mind that arises from a condition of spiritual weakness. So elsewhere, the spiritual weakness is put this way. Also, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's writing, but not from this particular section where I'm drawing from Haridas Thakur speaking. There is deceitfulness. This is a weakness of the heart, some sort of deceitfulness. There's fault finding. There's enviousness and a desire for fame. So this can play itself out in one's devotional life. So that chanting of the Maha Mantra with the benedictory aspect of freeing one from all the reactions from sinful activities that were committed before, and even freeing one from creating new sinful activity, neutralizing, still there may be these desires, and they may play themselves out while one is chanting the holy name. So there may be very simple ones, like fault finding. That's a very common one, because often finding fault with others is a means of elevating one's own position. So one has to be very watchful and not actually give oneself the space to do that, because it actually delays that connection with the Supreme Lord if one is giving space to fault finding. The other one is the desire for fame. This one can also take a particular shape where one is concerned with position, even in spiritual societies. So naturally, again, that's something one has to be highly watchful of, that it does not actually deviate one with the real objective that one is trying to actually develop one's connection with the Supreme Lord through the chanting of the Maha Mantra. So, and this is, I'm again continuing with Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur writing just on this little section where I'm not drawing directly from Srila Haridas Thakur, but Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he adds that these anarthas give rise to 6 enemies. So if one were to make space for fault finding, for being deceitful, for being envious, or for wanting fame, then actually 6 enemies get created internally. And these 6 enemies, you're actually feeding within. You're feeding anger, you're feeding greed, you're feeding illusion, you're feeding pride, and you're feeding envy. So that's why it's so important to be highly watchful, to see where these weaknesses in one's heart are, and to not give space to whatever the particular weakness is that oneself suffers from, whether it's fault finding, whether it's being envious, whether it's desiring fame, or whether it's being deceitful. Because if one does not, then you're feeding, you're creating an enemy within. And if you do so, if you do actually feed those weaknesses of heart, and you actually create your enemy within, then the result is 6 waves. That's how it's called, 6 waves. There's like a wave. You're going to have to experience like a long wave of distress or illusion or actual physical hunger or physical thirst, and you're going to have to experience old age and death. So that's how it's described by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Now, you could say, where does the holy name feature in all of this? Well, the holy name remains perfect, completely perfect. It's untouched, even if you're feeding these weaknesses of heart. The holy name remains perfect. But as long as the living entity, the spirit soul, is not firmly established in his knowledge of the relationship, of his relationship with Krishna and his energies and himself, he'll continue to chant in this Namabhasa stage, meaning that he'll be struggling to clear this whole cloud of weaknesses of the heart. So you can see the importance of both associating with saintly persons and hearing about what one needs to be watchful of. Now, a statement is made by Lord Krishna regarding the effect of having this knowledge that looks at the long-term effect, if one's understanding one's relationship with Krishna and how material nature works. And this is what Krishna says. One who understands this philosophy concerning material nature, the living entity, and the interaction of the modes of nature is sure to attain liberation. He will not take birth here again, regardless of his present position. So it means you won't actually have to go through this terrible suffering that's inflicted by virtue of the fact that you're in an encaged body. You're actually a spiritual being, but your consciousness is working with matter, and you're focused on matter and functioning in that passionate way, and there's all the suffering that goes with it. So just if one has this particular knowledge, understands the philosophy, then one won't have to return into this particular position again. That's what Lord Krishna says, and that's the 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the 24th verse. Now, the most extraordinary power of the holy name is also seen in this clearing stage. I've just described, it's pretty difficult. Now, there are 4 attitudes on the part of the person who's chanting. One can be being very unintentional. So it means one's got a very material concept of the holy name. I'm going to get some good results from this. A second one, this is like the attitude that can be there, is one of jest or ridicule. So often you'll see persons who are not familiar with the deep philosophy of Krishna consciousness. They may ridicule persons who may go out on performing kirtan on the streets. So there can be derisiveness, or there can be disregard or neglect, because one's got something completely different on one's mind when one's chanting. So this is an attitude that can also be problematic. But the power of the holy name is such that although the chanting may be inattentive or with disregard, still the pain of material existence is being alleviated. That's the extraordinary thing. And why there's the pain is just because there's constant discomfort if one hasn't understood oneself to be a spiritual being. So by chanting, even with the wrong attitude, like having one's mind elsewhere, but the sound of the holy name is coming out, still, actually, that material discomfort is being alleviated. So it's said the holy name offers a person more good fortune than religiosity, vows, yoga, and sacrifice put together. That's how glorious the holy name is. By chanting, a person's sins are absolved, and instead, the personality of Kali, who's the personality ruling this particular age, becomes a well-wishing servitor of the spirit soul, providing security and equanimity. So that's the result. One actually experiences a sense of security and equanimity because one's actually been assisted by the personality overseeing this age, just by virtue of the fact that one is chanting the holy name. That's the glory of the holy name. And finally, it's when faith arises in chanting that attraction for the holy name results, and these anatas are cleared quickly and easily. And it's then, and that was Srila Haridas Thakur's statement, that one is led to the pure holy name. And generally, it requires the assistance of a pure devotee, one who's completely purified, to resuscitate that small spark of devotion that may be in a living entity, because the purified devotee will encourage the person to worship the deity, to gradually get more knowledge, and gradually help the person become established in devotional service to the Lord. So it requires the assistance of a very purified devotee. So in summary, and I realize I've gone 5 minutes over time, I do apologize, the topic as such. Anyway, in summary, Srila Haridas Thakur's words, he puts it this way: this material nature has nothing more superior to offer than the holy name. The holy name is the most precious treasure in the Lord's storehouse. The jiva and the holy name are the only two supra-mundane objects in this material universe. Everything else is inert matter. So that's the glory attributed to the holy name, and oneself as a spiritual being is considered to be, alongside the holy name, the only supra-mundane. Everything else is really mundane. So that's Srila Haridas Thakur. So, so finally, once one is purified of his material functioning, then four features take on the same spiritual nature and are not different from him, meaning his material body, his name, his form, his qualities and activities, everything synchronizes finally. And everything becomes of a spiritual nature and none different from the living entity. So there's not that separation and conflict that's causing this discomfort all the time. So until he's purified and liberated by Krishna's grace, the jiva, the spirit soul, has to suffer the pangs of the false identification with the body. So this is that path of material life that can only be transcended by chanting the holy name. So that closes the discussion for this evening, and I do apologize that I've gone a little bit over, but somehow that's the way it went. So thank you very, very much for your kind attention. I don't want to keep anybody from prasadam upstairs, but if somebody has some thought they wish to express, perhaps it can be done privately, just so that it doesn't delay everybody proceeding to prasadam. Thank you so much for your very kind attention. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Thank you so much, Mataji, for your presentation. Now you are free to go and have your dinner. Prasadam is being served on the 3rd floor. As you come out, walk on your right, and please go upstairs. After having your prasadam, you may kindly come back. There will be kirtan going on here in the temple room, which will continue till 8 o'clock. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesa Sunyavadi Pasatyadeshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta-vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Kishore Kishori Jaya Kishore Kishori Jaya Kishore Kishori Jaya Kishore Kishori Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai I missed that. Can you only Jaya Jagannatha Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Nitya Gaura Hari Bol Nitya Gaura Hari Bol Oh my goodness, my knees hurt. Yeah. No, him. Wow. Here. Thank you. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Kishore Kishori, Jaya Kishore Kishori, Jaya Kishore Kishori, Jaya Kishore Kishori. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Cameraman, you are breathing the things you could. Cameraman. Oh yeah. Cameraman.
Please. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hari Bol. Jai.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Hare
Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Kishore Kishore
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Rama
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Evo.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare Bol.
Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Gauranga.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna
Deva.
Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Deva.
Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Bolo, bolo, bolo. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare.
Hare Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare
Hare
Go.
Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare
Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare.
Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Haribo.
Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare
Jaya Kishore Kishori Jaya Kishore Kishori
Jaya Kishore Kishore Jaya Kishore Kishore
Jaya Kishore Kishori Jaya Kishore Kishori
Jaya Kishore Kishore Jaya Kishore Kishore
Jaya Jagannath Swami Jaya Jagannath
Jaya Jagannath Swami Jaya Jagannath
Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai
Jaya Gauranita Jaya Gauranita
Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai
Jaya Gauranita Jaya Gauranita
Jaya Gauranitai
Jaya Gauranita Jaya Gauranita
Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Prabhupada
Jaya Prabhupada
Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada
Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Nitai Gaura Haribo Gaura Haribo
Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitya Gaur Hari Bol Hey
Harinam Sankirtan Yajna ki
Jai
Anant Godi Vaishnavind ki jai Shri Shri Kishore Kishori ki jai Shri Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Rani ki jai Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai
Jai
Nitai Gaur Premanande
Hari Hari Bol Oh